Well, the idea for the show came out of an invitation from David Senna, who's in the show, one of the artists.
This show was originally in my gallery in Manhattan called Center Space Art Gallery. It had a very good reaction. It was a smaller show and it was in a smaller space, but we had 60 artists and I think it was very successful and the public responded really well to it. So the way that Zoe and Chris put very strict guidelines on what you could do and not do, it turned out to be a really cohesive and coherent, visually enticing show.
So when we first started talking about the drawing show, we were thinking about it kind of as this exploration of a very fundamental media and this idea of all of these artists that we knew. First of all, we weren't sure who of them all drew. We thought that there were many more people drawing than the people who we have seen their drawings. But we've seen a lot of people's drawings, and we were just thinking about how diverse they were and how this medium was really prone to that. Like there was something about this idea of a fundamental, almost like primordial art form.
Sure, and it's also interesting to see the different types of artists' works and how they relate to drawing, whether they're a sculptor or a painter or whatnot. And I guess the idea behind the whole show also is that drawing is really the basis of any type of art, and that's really kind of, something like a solid foundation you need when creating anything.
Well, I was invited by Christopher and Zoe for the show in New York. Am I the only European? And so I understood I was that. And from that, there grew an idea in me, and that I suggested to Chris and Zoe a few days later that maybe we could transform things and build a prime matter Europe, so we could all be together and do something more forceful.
There's so few museums, and we were just talking about that, dedicated to drawing. It feels like almost anywhere that we know of. I can only name, I don't know, very few. And so I think that's very special about this place. And it's a beautiful space. I mean, we're just really excited to see it grow, and what Madeline's talking about in terms of the amount of people and the way it's changing in terms of the cultural exchange. All that's really exciting.
Madeline contacted us in last year in November, I think, and told us about the project. And of course, we were very excited about it. And also to have the European premiere here in this little small town in Sweden.
First wall is ready.
Wow.
Great.
It feels good.
It feels really nice.
How many walls left?
Maybe 1,000.
A few.
Yeah. By the end, you should film at the end when I'm like, oh. You see the tears coming down.
My name's James Bills. From Brooklyn, New York. This is one of my drawings here. I have a math background as well as a little bit of architectural studies. So I use a drafting technique that architects use to render objects to scale. There's so much sort of power in the amount of information in this little object that makes people think they're powerful, but people feel that they have more information, they have more things to do, but they're just turning on the TV.
I need to draw, and it's very important part of my work. This is a drawing for itself, not to do another work of art, just itself. And other drawings are thinking about what I would do in a special place or with different elements with a different scale.
Ja, alltså jag har ju en bildvärld som är min egen, som bottnar i natur, tror jag. Men jag har alltid en känsla av att jag ska vara bortom det. Jag söker alltid någonting långt där borta som egentligen inte har något mål, utan det är en väg fram.
Well, this is a drawing I did in my studio in a little town in Tuscany called Sarteano. And when I sit at my drawing table, the lemon trees cast shadows on the wall. So I got intrigued. Instead of looking out at this beautiful view, just watching the shadows move. So it was very gentle here, and then it became slightly more contrasty, and it was very powerful here.
My artwork is drawing with the dust. I draw instead of using tools like pencil or brush or other. I just use the dust which is in my studio around me, and the dust became the space between the paper and everything what is around you. So your perception of my work is it's a gesture between you and paper.
Drawing is a very pure medium, and you have a great deal of control over precisely what you want to do, and I tend to work out a lot of the drawings that I do in advance. They're very precise ideas usually, and so drawing allows that. A lot of the pieces I do involve patterning over imagery, so using some underlying sort of imagery and abstracting it to a certain level where there's a balance between the abstraction and the imagery.
Emma Tapley from New York. Sure, so this is just a close-up of grass, clovers, and I paint usually inverted landscapes or reflections, and they're all oil on clay panels. For a while I was drawing in preparation for painting, and my dealer really discouraged it. So it was the first time that I went back to drawing, and so I'm glad that this happened, because now I want to incorporate drawing more into my work because it leads to new ideas and it's fun.
Well, I'm a sculptor, so I work in marble and stone. So a lot of times when I'm drawing, I'm usually just drawing on a three-dimensional object, and I'm just carving and using it as a guide. And I think it's been interesting in this project because I haven't done a lot of drawings on paper before. I've been just using them just as a tool, essentially. But schematically, it's been helping me, and I think looking at the work, it gives you another dimension of my sculpture because you get a sense of what's underneath the cloth.
Og jeg har tegnet veldig mye før, men med kull. Og jeg tenkte at da ville jeg, til denne utstillingen her, så tenkte jeg at jeg ville gjerne ta tilbake kull og begynne å jobbe med det igjen, og det var en utrolig stor glede. Og jeg har jo vært opptatt av liksom organiske former, altså blomster, og så jeg begynte å jobbe med nærbildet av en sånn iris, ikke sant? Og så har jeg igjen da gått så nær at det nærmest blir en abstraksjon.
I will walk this long, long road, and I wonder where people will go when there's nobody there. I could die right here, and I wonder where people will go when there's nobody there. Oh, oh, say that you're gonna be mine, child, but I don't care.
Let the camera. Yeah, let the camera down.